What does worship mean to me? I think a lot of times we associate worship with music and songs and praise, which I think is part of it. Personally, I think worship is simply a response of how awesome our God is.
Worship to me is not just a time or playing music or singing. I think worship is everything you're doing before and leading up to that time where you're singing and everything that you're doing after.
I think it's a time that we can really reflect on who God is and what He has done for us, and just remember His goodness and to just lift that up in song to Him.
So worship, to me, I think it's about lifting God up, because when you praise something or someone, you're holding them of value, and so you lift them up with what you say about them. And because as Christians we believe that God is great and that He deserves to be praised, I think when we worship together, we are lifting Him up above ourselves.
So worship to me is more than the songs that we sing or going to church. I think it's definitely a lifestyle, definitely just acting in obedience to God, what He says in His Word and what His will is in our lives.
Worship was actually a pretty integral part of my life, because that was the first time I really experienced God. And I guess it sounds kind of weird, but I felt like I was able to see God or to feel God, like different truths. Like I felt like in moments of worship, I felt like He was telling me, like, I care about you, I see you, you're not invisible, you're not worthless.
But personally, I worship in the ways I relate to people. Maybe we worship through our conversations together. We remind each other of how faithful our God is.
To me, I think one of the more meaningful ways of expressing that is through song. Just because I'm not always great with my words, and I feel like God has created music as a unique way of expressing things that words can't express.
I also believe worship for me is also prayer. I think there are many worship songs where I don't truly believe what I'm saying, and so in the midst of that I am praying that God would change my heart and that the words that I speak would be true, because I want them to be true for my life.
And for me personally, worship has always been very passionate, very honest. During the times where I'm struggling and I've sinned terribly, that I would worship harder and I would be very passionate in the way that I cry out for mercy and for forgiveness.
I think I enjoy worship because I realize that while it does happen in like a corporate setting, it's very much just between God and myself.
Most of the time we just, are in sin, or we are forgetting God, or, doing something that is not God's best. But at least when we come back to worship, we can just think about, this is who God is, and this is what He wants me to be doing, to be singing about Him and to sing out about what an amazing God He is. So it's a good opportunity.